Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a three-parter. First part is a preview of the big game against Rangers Sunday lunchtime live on TV. Second part is going to be having a look at the Champions League fixtures that have been recently announced today on Saturday. And finally, just a wee brief analysis of the summer transfer window and the kind of grading and analysis I would give of our summer work in terms of scouting and recruiting and bringing players to the club, and also creating some squad space by moving on some of the fringe players who weren't getting regular games. Before we do crack on with the actual video, please just a wee request, suggestion, encouragement. If you are new to the channel and not yet subscribed, please do click that subscriber button. Keep things pushing towards the 1,000. It's only a couple of days ago that we hit 900, and so it's been absolutely amazing. Just in 48 hours, we've added 60 plus new subscribers. That's really tremendous, and I'm massively grateful for all those who've joined recently, and also massively grateful for all those who have joined and subscribed to the channel over the 13 months it's been in existence, and really do enjoy having nice discussions, debates with Celtic fans all over the world. Do click that like button, and as I was saying, do feel free to add your polite comments in the comment section to further the debate, chat, discussions amongst like-minded Celtic fans. And so, as I said, big game tomorrow against Rangers at lunchtime. A game that I fully expect us to win. We did a wee poll on the channel. The results of that were from around about 160, 170 people who voted. So far, a 1-goal win was at 13%, a 2 or 3 goal win at 59%, a more than 3 goal win at 23%, and a draw at 5%. I personally am going to go for a 3-1 win for Celtic, which would fit in with majority opinion. However, for me, any win, no matter how it's got, is the important thing. I think it's important for us to dominate our big rivals straight away, put them on the back foot, and push them further and further behind us. And after 4 games, that would put us 5 points ahead. And I fully expect us to win tomorrow. Looking a wee bit at the stats, we've only lost once to Rangers in the last 12 matches. We won 4 and drew 1. Of the 5 Rangers Celtic games last season, admittedly all those games were really pretty close. We had 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins, and that 3-3 draw. And I do think Celtic will have a more convincing win tomorrow, which is why I'm going to go for the 3-1, as I do think Rangers are weaker than they were in May in the cup final, and I think also Rangers are liable to be playing quite a number of players who've never played a Rangers Celtic match before, and I think a lot of the players who will be playing for Rangers tomorrow haven't experienced 60,000 plus Celtic fans in the Goldfish Bowl pressure cooker intense atmosphere of Celtic Park against our big rivals. We've had a great start to the season, 3 wins out of 3. Over those 3 games, our opponents have only ever had 1 shot on target in each of those 3 games. 1 by Kilmarnock, 1 by one by St Mirren, 1 by Hibs. We've had 9 goals for, no goals against. And I think we're going to be going into that game tomorrow with our best squad, our best 11, and all our key players fully fit and in form, and for that reason I think the 3-1 win is the most likely result. Looking now at the predicted starting 11, for me our starting 11 should be players who have experienced Rangers Celtic matches before, and for that reason I would keep our new signings such as Engels, Valley, McCowan, Trusty, etc. on the bench. I think being on the bench does give them first-hand experience of the atmosphere of a Rangers Celtic match, the pressure and intensity. Also does give us the option late in the game, maybe in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes, to bring on several of those players to have first-hand experience playing in the pressure cooker atmosphere of Rangers Celtic. I think, given the fact that players such as Paulo Bernardo, Liam Scales, Adam Ida have all experienced Rangers Celtic before, we know that they can cope with that atmosphere. I think we should stick with them rather than bringing in and by that matter, Greg Taylor at left back. We know all of them can cope with the pressure of the big fixture, and so I would stick with them and have the new players on the bench. So my starting 11 is going to be Kasper Schmeichel in goals, back four of Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. Midfield three, Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo and Rio Hatate. Out wide on the right, Nicholas Kuhn, and out wide on the left, Dyson Maida. And assuming that Kyogo is fully fit and that his shoulder is properly back into joint and not liable to pop out with the smallest of falls, I'd have Kyogo up front. And if there is any doubt regarding Kyogo's shoulder, I would start Ida from the start. And I think we've got a very good deputy in Adam Ida if Kyogo's not 100%. That would leave us still with a very good bench. We can bring on players such as Forrest and Palmer out wide. We can bring on Engels, Trusty, Valley, etc. McCowan, and I think it does give Celtic a very strong starting 11 and quite a number of players to come off the bench to either change the game back into our favour or to hold on for a convincing win at the end. You may all have different opinions on whether we should start or not start the new players and quite how we should mix up the team for tomorrow's game. And I think there are quite a lot of different options for Brendan Rodgers, but I think he will play it safe. Moving on to section 2, the full Champions League fixtures were announced earlier today, Saturday, and much like the draw, which went on the whole very well for Celtic in terms of which teams we got out of pot 1, pot 2, pot 3 and pot 4, I think the way that the fixtures have been lined up has also been very much in our favour. We're starting on the 18th of September against Slovan Bratislava at home. I think that game, with it being a home fixture, is eminently winnable. Get yourself off to a 3-point start. We then go what probably are our two hardest games back to back. Game 2 against Borussia Dortmund away on the 1st of October, followed on the 23rd of October with an away game against Atalanta. I think those are probably our two hardest opponents, and having them back to back away from home I think is ideal for Celtic, as it does give us the chance to come back if those two results go against us. We've then got an eminently winnable home game against Red Bull Leipzig at Celtic Park on the 5th of November, followed by on the 27th of November a game we should be looking to win. That's against Club Brugge at Celtic Park. I think the best place to play Bruges would be at Celtic Park. It could be a difficult away fixture, but I think it's a game that we can win very much. Then possibly our easiest away game against Dynamo Zagreb, 10th of December. Then we'll have the Christmas and New Year break, and then coming back at the end of January, on the 22nd of January, home win against Young Boys Bern. Again, a game we should be looking to win. I think having them at Celtic Park does give us a real strong chance of winning. Similarly, I think playing Zagreb in Croatia gives us a chance, certainly, of a draw, and a good chance, I think, also of an away win, which could really boost us up into the higher parts of the revised Champions League table. And finishing off the Champions League fixtures on the 29th of January with an away game at Aston Villa, a Battle of Britain game. I think Aston Villa is certainly a team that I think is roughly the same kind of level of quality as we are. I think we can easily go to them and draw or even push for a win. And I think also the Scottish players and British players within the Celtic team for that game will very much appreciate the importance of Scotland against England matches, and I suspect play with a lot more intensity and passion than maybe some of the Aston Villa players will do that day. And having said all that, I think Celtic does have a real strong hope of getting into that 9 to 24 position placing, which gives us a playoff to get into the knockout stage last 16. And I think any two-legged game of that nature, with one of them being at Celtic Park, does mean that we have a strong chance, if we do get into that playoff round, of getting through to the knockout stage for the first time in absolutely ages. It's going to be difficult, but with the way the draw was and the way those fixtures have been scheduled, I think we have a really good chance of being in the 9 to 24 bracket. Just moving into the final section, section 3, just a wee quick overall view of the summer transfer window 2024. I did put down a few wee thoughts in my late night video last night, and so grateful for all those people who have viewed that. Well over 3,000 plus, I think 30 odd new subscribers. Absolutely brilliant. I do apologise if I seemed a wee bit sleepy and dopey, but it was recorded between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning after rather a long, busy day of doing work at home, housework, and also keeping an eye on the transfer window, all the sports sites, BBC, Sky Sports, etc., all day long. And also very grateful for all those who've given some feedback on that video and their own analysis of the transfer window. So if I was going to give it an overall grading, I would go for a B plus or an A minus. I think we've got in this transfer window a great goalkeeper for the next couple of years in Kasper Schmeichel. He could potentially play for many more years, but I think he's probably going to end his career at 39 or 40. So I think we'll go him for a couple of years. I think he's going to be a great goalkeeper for us, particularly in the Champions League. I think he's going to save us points and win us points with his goalkeeping. I think we've got a very good, promising young international goalkeeper in Sinisalo. He's already played several times for the full Finnish side. I think he's going to get better and better, and I could see him being a Celtic goalkeeper for 5-10 years if all goes well, even longer. We brought in a potential superstar in Arnie Engels. I think he is a player with great ability for a 20-year-old, lots of experience for a 20-year-old, was the star player for Augsburg in their mid-table finish in last year's Bundesliga. He's just got himself into the full Belgium squad, which is unusual at the age of 20. I think he's so versatile, plays all three midfield roles, can play out wide as well. I think he's going to be a superstar for Celtic. I think we've got a very good left-sided centre-back. I think he and Carter Vickers are going to form a good partnership. They've already played together in American squad games, etc. So I think they're going to form a great partnership. I think also Trusty gives us extra height, extra aerial ability, extra strength in defending corners, high balls into the box, long throws, etc. I think we've got a good squad Scottish player in Luke McCowan. I think he's going to be an important player coming off the bench. I think he's a player who can start in games in Scotland to try and give Hattati, McGregor, Engels a bit of a break before or after Champions League games. I think we've got Adam Ida, a player who we know scores in Scottish level games. I think he also is a player who can and will score goals in Europe. I think it gives Celtic the option of different styles of play in the forward zone. I think it gives us the option, if we need to, for a target man player, a player to go on late in the game to tie things down, provide an out ball. I think also Ida and Kyogo can easily play together as a 1-2 option if we do have to try and get a late goal to win or draw a match. And I think we have got several players who can act as a backup striker should Kyogo or Ida become injured. Although I think it's an area that we might well go back to in the winter window, going back to try and see if we can entice Mateusz Bogusz away from LA. And I think buying players from the Major League Soccer in January is much easier, as the American season finishes in December, restarts in the spring, and so it's a good time to buy players in from the MLS, as it proved with Alistair Johnson coming a couple of years ago. Paulo Bernardo, I think we know what we've got with Paulo Bernardo. He's a player who last season played well for us, some games that weren't so good. I think he's going to get better and better with time and experience. I think Odin Thiago Holm, over the next season or two, is going to come into the team more and more. And I think in Paulo Bernardo, Engels and Odin Thiago Holm, we have got a midfield of the future. If, as seems likely, Rio Hattati leaves for Pastors New next year or so, and I think also Callum McGregor probably has 2 or 3 more years at the highest level, and then probably dropping in and out the team more as Scott Brown did right at the end of his career. One area I think we could have done better in is at left back. I think Alex Valley is going to be a great player at left back for us. Definitely an upgrade on Greg Taylor, but he is here on loan, and so it's a temporary fix for the problem. We would be much happier had we gone for a permanent deal, and we did look at several players for that. And I do think that we'll go back to looking at the left back role in the winter window, be it to look for players who are going to be out of contract in June 2025 and buy them for a cut price deal, or looking at those players and getting them signed on a pre-contract so that they start for us in the summer of 2025. Also, sometimes in the winter window, teams are looking to offload players off their wage budget because they don't think they're going to be in contention for cups and leagues and European qualification. And so sometimes in the winter window, you can get a player of high ability and a team who's willing to sell their good players, which often isn't the case in the summer window, when teams are still full of hope of winning leagues, cups, and qualifying for the Champions League. So for me, B plus or A minus. Some areas we could have done better, but I think overall we've done well. And in 6-12 months, we can look back on this. Hopefully some of the players have done even better than expected. And hopefully none of them have had disappointing starts to their career. Although, as Nicholas Kuhn proved from the winter window, a player who started off rather disappointingly in the first few months of 2024 has become, in the first month or so of 24-25, a real good player for Celtic. So As always, we'd be delighted to see what you feel yourselves regarding the transfer window. Do feel free to use the comment section, both to feedback on that, share opinions on that, but also the likely result tomorrow against Rangers and how you feel the Champions League fixtures have panned out for Celtic. So before we finish, just a wee quick suggestion, reminder, encouragement to, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, to click that subscribe button, getting us closer and closer to the 1,000 mark, which opens up so much new chances and opportunities for the channel. Do use the like button if you like the video, and comment section, as always, open for pleasant, polite, constructive debating points, opinions, thoughts, etc. So until the next video, which will either be Sunday evening after the Rangers match has been won, or Monday morning when I'll do a more fuller video, we'll say goodbye, good luck Celtic in beating Rangers tomorrow, and hail, hail.